one of the most useful things you can do for yourself, flat out. Well, there's drinking water, getting a good night's sleep, and foam rolling is like number 3 on that list. So for years, I worked as a massage therapist full-time, and I told my clients, buy one of these, learn how to use it, save your money, don't see me as often, okay? That's how useful these things are. So today what I want to do is take you through how to roll your lower body. So from the waist down, this is us rolling. So what I'm going to take you through is just one kind of recommended routine as far as the order in which we're doing things. They just happen to be the order in which I do things, and it's a routine so I don't miss anything. I'm going to take you through that same routine, and so we'll go through it, and then we'll spend some time in each area. You're going to get some therapy out of this, so that'll feel good. And then I think if we have time before it wraps up, we'll review the whole loop, and so you can have a good chance of remembering what to do on each part. Okay, so let's begin with the calves. And one of the easiest ways to start is we're not even going to lift ourselves off the ground. We're just going to rock back and forth on what I call the softness of your body. So you've probably got some tissue between your pelvis and the floor. Okay, it's called your butt, and we're just going to rock back and forth on it. The roller isn't moving that far, but that's okay. That's as far as the squishy part of my butt lets me roll. We do a couple inches back and forth, and now I'm just going to change the location of the foam roller to a new part and go back and forth, okay? One of the keys here, and you're going to hear me repeat this over and over the next half an hour, is relax, okay? If my feet are held up, pulled back towards me, the muscles in my calves get tight, and then this doesn't really do anything. But if I relax and let myself melt over the foam roller, the roller has a chance to be effective, okay? So through all of this, especially if we get into parts that are a little bit sore or tender, all of us will have a tendency to tighten to make the pain go away. You want to counteract that and relax and embrace some of the discomfort, okay? This is really safe to do. I'll go over some of the things that you want to avoid, but overall, super safe, even if it's super painful. The only time that you would change what you're doing because it hurts is that if it hurts so much that you can't relax, well, now it's not being productive, okay? All right, so I'm going to change the location of the roller again and just rock back and forth, focusing on relaxing my feet, relaxing my lower legs, and just letting myself melt over the foam roller. Now, as we have gone through this first piece, if you've already felt like somebody snuck a golf ball into your calf muscle, there's a lump that keeps going over, or it's sore, then this amount of pressure may be enough for you to get tons of benefit out of this. But for the rest of us, if this so far felt really gentle, there was no discomfort at all, well, now we're going to kind of use our hands and raise our bum off the ground a little bit, and now roll. This definitely turns into, the added bonus is some shoulder stability, some core stability. This is kind of like a workout. And so now if you're feeling some tenderness, again, resist the temptation to contract, work on relaxing, okay? Through this whole exercise, you are the ice cube that was left on the counter and you're slowly melting, okay? That's kind of the feeling you want to create. If by doing this, your arms and shoulders get too tired, then put the weight back on the ground and roll back and forth with your bum on the floor. If that feels too light and gentle, then take one leg, put it on top of the other leg to get a little more weight involved. And now obviously only one leg is getting rolled, but the extra weight from leg number 2 is making it a little more intense, a little more fun, okay? So right now what you're trying to do is figure out, can I support my weight in my hands and roll up and down the calves, okay? If that's too difficult, and you want some more intensity in that leg rolling, then you are stacking one leg over top of the other. With your butt on the floor, it limits how big the roll can be over the calf muscles. Now all that means is you're going to roll those couple of inches and then change the location and continue, okay? For the back of the calf, you can go all the way from the Achilles, okay, all the way to the very top, almost behind your knee, almost behind the knee. We don't want to roll behind the knee exactly. All right, first caution piece here. So on the outside of your calf, so below the knee, just to the side, there's a spot right here that if you roll it, so if I'm in this position and I roll over there, it's your peroneal nerve, you'll hit it, it'll feel like you hit your funny bone of your knee, and it'll zing and be really painful. So we just want to avoid that. If you do it, nothing bad happens, except we're having a lot less fun at that point, okay? So that's the one thing that we want to be cautious of. As we're doing these lower legs, I'm going to show you one thing you want to try. And that is, so you can have your toes pointed, well, not straight up to the ceiling, but, you know, midline, let's say 12 o'clock, okay? You can also have your toes pointed inward, okay? So you're really pigeon-toed and you're trying to address the muscles on the inside of your calves, okay? So there's lots of muscle down there, and we want to address all the different parts, okay? So then we can take our feet back to midline and then beyond, so kind of almost turn to the outside. Remember, if you turn them to the outside, we do not want to go too close to the knee, then we get to that nerve. If it's just pain or tenderness or soreness, that indicates that there's a muscle that is tight, it's not relaxing very well, and it needs some help. That's what the discomfort feels like, okay? Just gonna check my chat and see what's going on here. So as we go through this process, it's quite easy to, well, feel discomfort, feel pain, okay? And so one of the questions is this safe? Can I hurt myself doing this? No, you cannot hurt yourself doing this, even if it hurts a lot, okay? You might be a little bit stiff tomorrow, but it's completely safe, all right? So those are some of the positions that you can work through for the calves. All right, so from there, what I do is I go straight to the other end, all right? And for this case, it's lower body, so the other end is the hips. All right, so now what I'm going to address is kind of the top of the glutes, glute max, glute med that attaches to my pelvis. So when you look at how our pelvis is structured, so you can feel like just at your waist, there's kind of a bony prominence, and then the bone in this area is concave, it's dished out, and it's the exact same curve as these rollers for the most part, okay? So what I'm going to do is roll onto my left side, okay? And if I let the roller go too far up into my waist, it's going to hurt on that bony ridge, okay? If I go too low down the side, it's going to hurt as it hits the top of my leg bone. So there's space right in between, okay? Now what I'm going to do is actually take my pelvis, which is now stacked one side on top of the other, and I'm going to roll it forwards to about a 45-degree angle, okay? And you're going to feel, this might feel like the foam roller just sinks right into the front of your hip, okay? Or it feels like you're now lying on a bed of golf balls. In any event, you are the ice cube and you're melting over the foam roller. And now we're not going to roll the foam roller, but instead we're going to take the body and roll it side to side, okay? Now, if you're on your left hip, like me, do a quick check with your left foot. Is your left foot lying on the floor totally relaxed, or is it trying to grab onto something? That whole left leg should be almost like it's paralyzed. It's not doing anything. The right leg is supporting some weight. The arms are doing some work for sure, okay? But from that left hip down, nothing is happening, okay? So I actually like to have sock feet on when I'm doing this kind of work. so that my foot can easily slide on the floor, okay? All right, so we're just rolling side to side, getting into part of the glute and part of the hip flexors. All right, so with that, I'm gonna roll over, and just to make sure we don't miss anything, we're doing the other side, okay? All right. Perfect. Okay, so now again, I'm on the right hip. I'm going to kind of roll forwards to about a 45-degree angle, and then I'm using my left leg and my arms to control my position, and I'm just going to rock from side to side. Okay, so I would say that using a foam roller effectively comes with practice. It comes with, for you, learning the body positions that you can get into comfortably. I'll be honest, like I've practiced so much to find comfortable ways to get into these positions. So what I'm showing you is, I guess, an option, and I'll try to go through a few for every one. But at the end of the day, it comes down to practicing. The bonus is all the time you spend practicing, you're also getting stronger in these kind of semi-plank positions, okay? All right, perfect. We're gonna come out of that. And now from here, I go straight into the glutes, okay? So now we'll do the right glute first. I'd say there's two options here. One is, both options have us kind of at a 45-degree angle again here, right? Okay? So number one is, I'm on the right hip, my right knee falls to the floor, okay? And I actually have my left foot on top of my right foot. Okay, so now, again, the roller's not rolling, it's me rolling on the roller. So this would be, for sure, my favorite way to roll the glutes on the right side, okay? If the glutes are tight and sore, you're gonna find that this right knee just kind of slowly elevates as you start to hold it, okay? And what you want to do then is let it relax. Every time you roll over a sore spot, your body will try to respond to protect itself. Your job, your goal is to let that drop, okay? Just like so. Okay, let's just roll over and do the left side, because we haven't hit that one yet. And so option B for this, and the more common pictures that you'll see is, I'll do this with the left side here, is I'll take the left ankle and I'll put it over the right knee, and then I'll roll on to my left side, okay? The reason I think that this is the more common image, because I looked at some of these pictures today to see what people are doing out there, and this for sure is the more common way to do this, only because it's a little more extreme. So as a general rule, when you're looking up stuff to do for your body, chances are what you're going to find are the more extreme versions of everything, because that's just the tendency or trend. I actually don't like this position at all. It puts way too much tension in the piriformis muscle in the glute, and it doesn't give it a chance to relax and melt over the foam roller. Now, maybe if there was less tension there to begin with, I wouldn't dislike it so much. But on average, most of us have some inherent tension in those glutes. Surprisingly, that inherent tension doesn't go along with the tone that we would all love to have in our butt muscles. You can have underlying tension covered up by lack of tone somehow, and that's just how that works. Okay, perfect. So one of the things I'll mention here is, as you're rolling back and forth, and maybe it's really sore, no matter how much you try to relax, you just can't. Okay, well, here's an option with foam rolling where you get into a position where you're either on the sore spot or you're just on the edge of the sore spot, and then you just stop moving, okay? You just relax, you breathe, you focus on being that melting ice cube that just folds over the foam roller, okay? And you just wait. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do this for 20 seconds, 40 seconds, a full minute, okay? And Then when you start to move, be gentle, be nice to yourself, and stay relaxed and try to just roll back and forth a little bit. And chances are some of that pain that you were feeling is now just gone. And that's because the muscle let go and relaxed. Okay? Perfect. So just to point out that if you don't have that fancy foam roller and you've just got the rolled up towel, the things that involve the roller rolling, this doesn't work for. But the things that involve you moving on the roller, like what we just did, okay, actually work not too bad. The foam rollers works better, for sure. But until you get that, this works pretty well for all those things that we were moving on the roller. Okay, so calves, hip flexors, side of the hip, and the glutes. Those are all super important. So from the glutes, we're going to take this down and look at the hamstrings. So let's just try this for a second. Not everything has to be uncomfortable with foam rolling. So hamstrings can be done together, okay? And truth be told, I think most people find this relatively comfortable. Check those shins and the feet. Everything should just be nice and relaxed. Chances are this just feels wonderful, okay? Which actually means we're not getting into it as vigorously as we should to help ourselves. So we need to do one hamstring at a time. And here's the trick. Hamstrings are really big muscles and they're gonna resist this roller working into it. So I get the end of the roller kind of at midline here, and I'm gonna take one leg and get myself up on that. And I'm gonna start right from my sit bone, right? Ischial tuberosity. If you roll forwards and then the roller just comes to a stop, okay? That's what I'm going for. And I'm kind of angled myself to the left. So my left bum cheek is on the ground because those muscles on the upper inner part of your thigh, almost groin area, are where we're gonna find a lot of our issues, okay? I've got a little bit of tension in my right quad, so it's kind of tight, and that pushes my leg into the foam roller, okay? Now from here, my left bum cheek is still on the ground, but if it feels okay, I'm gonna try to raise myself up. And this is where sometimes people go, oh my goodness, what's wrong with my leg? And so then you just apply the type of pressure, the amount of pressure that feels right for you, okay? Here, now I've got my heel on the floor sliding so that leg is as relaxed as possible, okay? And my shoulders and arms are working. You for sure get warmed up as you do this, okay? With this, you've got that same option as with the calves. So most of your body's on the floor and you're just kind of wiggling back and forth an inch or two. And when you've accomplished that, you can move the foam roller down the thigh and do the same thing, okay? If you feel comfortable with supporting yourself on your hands, then you can do a longer roll. There is no actual physical benefit between a full roll up and down the muscle or doing it piece by piece. None at all. There's maybe a time savings that if you can do the whole thing at once. But if you have some really tight muscles that are going to argue with you, doing little pieces at a time will actually be more effective. Doing the whole thing at once will lead to you kind of lumping and bumping over the problem areas and missing them, okay? All right, so let's go to the other side. Same idea. I really want to start with my ischial tuberosity running into that foam roller. And I kind of practice, you know, putting a little bit of tension in my quad, which pushes my leg into the foam roller, okay? One of the experiences you can have with this is you start rolling, everything feels fine. It's like, wow. The guy said this would be a little bit tender, but I don't feel anything. Well, there's two reasons behind that. A, you're actually a really, really healthy, supple person. Good for you, that's fantastic. Or B, your problems are so deeply rooted that the surface muscle is contracted and hiding and protecting the underlying issues that we have in our tissue. So you might find that as you roll, it just gets more and more sore. Don't be concerned. That's really, really super normal, okay? All right, again, you're just practicing. Maybe the butt's completely on the floor and you're just wiggling back and forth. You're seeking out the sore spots. You keep looking. If something feels fine, then don't spend too much time on it and move to something else. All right, cool. All right, that's hamstrings. Let's look at the front of the legs. We're gonna go shins and quads. Okay, so shins. You know, if you walk regularly, run, cross-country ski, oh my goodness, anything like that. All right, somebody, Geraldine noted, there's no comfort here, it's just stabbing pain. Yeah, it can be. You know, it's the disappointing part is you look for the good parts and there aren't any. Son of a gun. All right, shins. So your shin muscle, little anatomy lesson here. So on your shin, if I draw a line down the middle, okay, so that's my line. On the inside of that line, there is no muscle. No one has muscle there, okay? You know that because that's the part of the shin that hits the coffee table. And holy shit, does that ever hurt, right? But if the outside of your shin hits the coffee table, it's not too bad. So it's this part of the shin that we want to treat. So when we're on here, we're gonna try to go pigeon-toed to get to the inside of the outside of those shins. All right. So if you've never tried this before, get ready, this is exciting. So starting with the knees on here, hands on the floor, okay? Heels apart, toes together, and now we roll. All right, so if this is the first time you've ever done this, you might think that this is an optical illusion that I'm doing because it actually doesn't hurt me too much and it might be absolutely killing you, okay? If it's really, really sore and what I just did is off the table, not happening for you, well, then you can take one foot in front, one shin behind, take most of the pressure off that shin and just do this gently, okay? Just like that. Remember that foot back there? It has to be totally relaxed. If it's in a spasm and it's not cooperating, then take more pressure off, okay? So that's how we do our shins. If you're doing one leg at a time, make sure you get the other one in, okay? Just like so. What you want to be able to do, and I guess a sign of the fact that you're doing things well and you're progressing with it, is you get to the point where you can do both at once, okay? And I think it's something that we want to be able to do. It's a sign that your muscles are resilient and functioning and they're healthy. Okay. Quads. Just another I guess adventure into, I wonder how these are going to be. Some people feel that it's fine. Others, they'd rather have teeth pulled without anesthetic. So let's give it a shot here. What I like to do, lie on the floor, and to start with, for sure, the toes are on the floor, a little bit of a plank, and I'm just rocking back and forth. I've chosen a part of my legs by random, and I'm just going back and forth, using my toes to bear some weight, using my elbows to bear some weight. I'm just looking for anything that's sore. If nothing feels sore, then I'm gonna move to the next position, okay? I'm trying not to straighten my knees because that means my quads are going to be contracted. So I'm trying to imagine my legs, again, melting over, folding over that foam roller. If the elbows get sore or this semi-plank position just gets to be too much, okay, well, you can just lie down, all right? And you're still on the foam roller. Maybe you're moving a little bit there, or maybe you're just on it, okay? That pressure on the muscle is fantastic for it. And if your muscles get to the point where they're a little more tolerant or healthier, and you can roll the whole quads, okay? And then a fun thing to try is to bend your knees and then spread your feet apart, okay? And keep breathing and relaxing. Kind of just going through all these positions to show you that it is physically possible to do some of these things, even though what you're experiencing might be really, really crazy uncomfortable, okay? So the selling feature to some of this stuff is, if this is day one for you and you've gone through some of these things and some of it just felt horrible, work with it, not through it. Don't hurt yourself more than you're comfortable with, okay? But do it regularly and then see. I mean, within 1 week of doing this, some of those really sore spots are just eliminated or drastically improved. And that's when you believe that this works. So back to the beginning. Let's just do a quick review here, okay? We did the calves. We can do piece by piece, just squishing back and forth on our butts, or if the vigor is there, you can roll the whole calf. Have the toes pointed kind of midline, have the toes pointed gently to the outside without going too close to the knee, and then have the toes pointed inwards. And then we're just looking for those golf balls that somebody implanted into our calves, right? Then we went to the glutes and the hip flexors. So we're sitting on it, rolling over to the left and all the way over, almost face down. And I'm just rocking back and forth, okay? From there, that leads us straight to the glute massage. So I'm on a 45-degree angle. Left knee is on the floor or close to the floor. If I feel any tenderness, I know that my body wants to protect it. My goal is to let it go and relax, just like so. Once those glutes are covered, we go to the hamstrings. So we get to the end of the roller and perch that right up against our sit bone. See if there's anything going on there, because it's where the muscles attach to the bones. Those musculotendinous junctions are sometimes problem areas. And if that feels good, I'm going to try to roll the whole hamstring, just searching. All right, perfect. And then from there, we tried that shin stuff. Of all of these things, I'd say the shins are least important, unless, of course, you are a regular walker, runner, or skier. Then if this hurts too much, keep practicing and it'll get better. And then from there, we did the quads. The gentle version was the toes and the elbows are on the ground, and I'm just trying to find a way to make this work for myself. And then the full meal deal was rolling full quads with the feet off the floor. And then I think the exciting part comes in, knees bent, feet out. And it's like, wow, that's crazy. All right. Whew. Okay. So that is foam rolling 101. Again, it's really hard to hurt yourself with this. You're not going to cause damage, even though you're feeling like you're being skinned alive sometimes, okay? We went through all the soft parts from the waist down, so we're not rolling over anything bony or pokey. It's all the soft parts. And then tip is to, if you spend some time, like half an hour doing this, make sure you drink some water. The way this makes things feel good is it draws fluid into the tissue. That fluid came from your circulatory system, which also delivers blood to your brain. You do this for half an hour every night, and if you don't drink water, you can get kind of like a dehydration headache or just not feel very good. So replace the fluids in conjunction with this. Sweet. If you have any questions, hang out and I can chat for a bit. Otherwise, thanks for showing up. I'll see you Thursday for From the Waist Up foam rolling. Take care.